What's good, Broncos country? How's the heart of the Denver Broncos family beating today? Get ready, because the news that just dropped is the kind that makes the fan base hold its breath. One of our warriors, an absolute beast on the pass rush who's been terrorizing opposing quarterbacks, just went through a scare nobody saw coming. Yup, I'm talking about a physical issue that caught one of our most explosive defenders off guard right in the middle of the preseason. Will this shift the course of our defense? Can the Broncos keep the fire alive on the front line? Stick with me because this story is heating up, and I know you want every detail to understand what this means for our team. Broncos country, let's dive right in. Last Saturday, during the Broncos' crushing 39 preseason win over the San Francisco 49ers, we saw one of our defenders absolutely flying on the field, our guy Nik Bonitto. He was unstoppable. 5 sacks, 3 quarterback pressures, demolishing the 49ers offensive line in just one series. It was the kind of performance that gets the crowd roaring and opponents shaking. But then something went wrong. He limped off the field, headed to the locker room, and the vibe in the stadium shifted. The Denver Broncos family felt that familiar pit in their stomachs. What's going on with our guy? Head coach Sean Payton stepped up to clarify the situation, but even though it's under control, it still gives you chills. The issue? A bone spur in his foot, located in a very specific spot at the top of his foot. According to Payton, it's a simple matter. He underwent a quick surgery on Saturday, got 3 stitches, and the expectation is that he'll be back at practice next week, gearing up for the final preseason game against New Orleans. But family, let's be real. The word surgery is never music to a fan's ears, right? Especially when it's about a player who's a cornerstone of our defense. For those just tuning in, let's break down why this matters so much. Our pass rusher finished last season as the team's leader in sacks with 13.5 plus 16 tackles for loss and 2 forced fumbles. He was a Pro Bowler in 2024, named to the second-team All-Pro, and he's entering the final year of his rookie contract with massive expectations for 2025. Analysts are already saying he could be worth up to $23.6 million a year on a future contract extension. That's no small potatoes, Broncos country. He's the kind of player who changes games with an explosiveness that leaves offensive tackles lost and quarterbacks running for their lives. He's the guy who, when he steps on the field, you know something big is about to go down. But here's the big question. What does this bone spur mean for our game plan? Payton was optimistic, saying the surgery was minor and that the player is handling recovery well. He even shared a personal anecdote, mentioning he's had 2 bone spurs in his big toe and knows how annoying they can be, but it's not something that'll hold our defender back for long. The plan is for him to return to practice next week and, fingers crossed, be on the field against New Orleans in the final preseason game. But, family, we all know how football works. Any foot issue for an edge rusher who thrives on speed, explosiveness, and that insane ability to bend around tackles can be a red flag. So, Broncos country, what's going through your minds? Do you think Nik Bonitto will be back at 100% for the New Orleans game, or will the team hold him out to make sure he's flying for the regular season? Drop it in the comments because I want to hear from the fan base that makes this team pulse. Let's dig a little deeper. A bone spur, as Payton explained, is basically the body reacting to constant pressure. It's like the bone saying, I'm taking too much impact, so I'm going to build a little reinforcement here. In our defender's case, the spur's at the top of his foot, which is good news because it's not an area that directly bears the body's weight, like the heel or sole would. Still, any discomfort in the foot can mess with an edge rusher's mechanics. Think about it. Every step, every burst, every explosive move relies on a healthy foot. If he's not 100%, he could lose that initial snap that lets him blow past tackles like lightning. And there's more. Our defense is a machine. In 2024, the Broncos led the NFL with 63 sacks, and this guy was the heart of that quarterback pressure. But we've got other weapons too. Zach Allen, who just signed a $102 million extension, is proving he's a pillar on the defensive line. Jonathan Cooper, with his 8.5 sacks last season, is ready to step up if needed. And don't forget Baron Browning, who's coming back strong after dealing with his own injuries. The depth of our defense is a strength, but losing a player with our pass rushers' impact, even for a few days, is a test for this group. Now let's talk future. This foot issue with Nik Bonitto comes at a tricky time. Our defender is on the radar for a potential contract extension, and Sean Payton has made it clear he's next in line after Courtland Sutton and Zach Allen's deals. But even a minor injury can raise eyebrows in negotiations. Will the team open the vault now, banking on his potential, or wait to see how he performs early in the season? I think he deserves the bag. He's a beast. But what about you? Broncos country. Would you lock him up with a big contract now, or hold off to see how he recovers? Drop your take in the comments, because this debate is heating up. In the meantime, the team is prepping for the next preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals, where the starters will likely play sparingly. That gives our defenders some breathing room to recover without rushing. But the game against New Orleans, the final preseason matchup, will be the real gauge. If he comes back with the same explosiveness he showed against the 49ers, the fan base will breathe a sigh of relief. If not, we might need to temper expectations for the start of the regular season, which is right around the corner, with the opener against the Tennessee Titans on September 7th. And it's not just about the present, family. This guy is a centerpiece in the Broncos' plan to return to the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Under Vance Joseph's leadership, our defense is being pegged as a top 5 unit in the NFL, both in points and yards allowed per game. But facing offenses like the Kansas City Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes working his magic, or the Los Angeles Chargers, with Justin Herbert launching missiles, requires constant quarterback pressure. Our pass rusher is the guy who makes that pressure happen. If he's not at 100%, teams like those could exploit the gap, and we know there's no room for slip-ups in the AFC West. Plus, let's not forget, the preseason is about fine-tuning. Sean Payton is using these games to test formations, evaluate roster depth, and ensure the team's chemistry is on point. The defense, already a fortress, needs all cylinders firing to tackle the brutal regular season schedule. And look, Broncos country, we're feeling good. The win over the 49ers showed this team is hungry, and Payton's leadership is bringing no excuses mentality. But the question remains, can this defense hold up if our pass rusher needs more time to get back to his best? Here's another interesting angle, the psychological impact. Our defender, Nik Bonitto, is a leader on the field, the guy who sets the tone for the defense. When he's flying, the entire line feeds off his energy. If he's not at 100%, will the rest of the group feel it? Or will players like Cooper and Browning step up and show that the Broncos' defense is more than just one name? I believe our unit is strong enough to hold it down, but I want to hear from you. Broncos country, do you trust the depth of our defense to overcome this hurdle? Drop it in the comments, because the fan base's voice is what makes this team massive. Broncos country, if you bleed orange and blue, this is your spot. Subscribe to the Eokoff channel, hit the bell, and join us on this journey to the Super Bowl. The Denver Broncos family is united, and we need every one of you to make this team stronger. Let's go. In my view, Broncos country, this scare with our pass rusher's foot is a reminder that football is a game of details. A bone spur might seem small, but in a sport where every millisecond counts, any discomfort can make a difference. I believe he'll come back flying, because the guy's a warrior. But the team needs to be smart and not rush his recovery. The depth of our defense is an advantage, and names like Zach Allen and Jonathan Cooper are ready to hold it down. But what about you? Should we put him back on the field ASAP or hold him out for the regular season? Drop your take, because this debate is just getting started. So, Denver Broncos family, what's the plan? Will our pass rusher come back destroying everything, Or does the team need to give him some time to hit 100% for the regular season? Comment below with your thoughts, because the fan base's voice is what makes the Broncos unstoppable. Hit that like button, share with your friends who live and breathe Broncos country, and until the next video, when we'll bring more news straight from Denver. Let's go together, family, because this is the Broncos' year. Go Broncos.